Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about success measurement. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, would you say that the lead software engineer's success is measured by the success of their team? No, I wouldn't say so. I would say that the lead software engineer's success or like prestige within the company or like what's going to make that person achieve be recognized has to do with their ability to execute effectively on tasks and to inspire and move things. That is the strongest and most powerful thing that affects people's perception of a successful tech lead or someone like that. Basically, if you can get shit done. Because most of the time the success of sure, you will absolutely get recognized that you have a happy team or a very effective team or a productive team, etc., etc. But the reality is that the success of your team is a very subjective thing. There is no if a team is successful or not, well, it comes down to, or I would go as reverse it and say the only time you will be damaged by the performance of your team is if people aren't happy with the output of your team, and that is sort of a requirement, I would say. How do you measure success in software? In software teams, well, usually it's either that you meet your deadlines, or you usually, in some cases, you work in teams where you don't really have deadlines. You simply are able to cater to the needs of all your stakeholders, and that is incidentally the same thing every single business has to do. Like everybody who has a boss or like a customer has to do that. And whether or not that means that you're successful, I leave to you to define. But there are a lot of businesses who are getting by, but not really being recognized as one of the greats, or pushing it and getting to like the higher levels of success, if that makes sense. But the thing that I've always seen, which, as I said, brings the perception that a tech lead is very effective or very good or something like that, it really comes down to that. What type of ideas do you bring to the table? Are you able to execute on them? Are you able to make people see the validity of what you're trying to push? Are you able to produce results? Can people see in this is usually what I say at the very least. People are more prone to being moved by results than they are by words, at least long term. Short-term words have a big meaning and so forth. There are a lot of people who do a lot of talking, absolutely, but the people who really make the big difference can do both. You have to be able to sell your ideas, and you have to be able to gracefully take credit and sort of show off in a sense. But at the same time, because people have to be aware of that what you are doing. If you do things in the dark, you're never going to get recognized. But you have to be able to do both to a certain degree, because talking will only get you so far. At some point, you're going to have to be associated with something innovative or some type of success factor or something like that. And you can angle it in many different ways. But on average, I wouldn't say that the team success, I've been in situations where the team itself, like we performed piss poor in terms of like company value, but that wasn't because the team was misbehaving or like wasn't effective or something like that. It was because the business model and the customer acquisition and like the relationship that the company had built with stakeholders was ineffective. The business model would not be sustainable. This is something that I incidentally mentioned. Let's just say that was not a popular opinion, but it was damn true. And let's just say things didn't go so well as I had predicted. But if we look at the recognition that at the time that I got for the work that I did as the tech lead, that was through the roof. My performance reviews were very, very high, and the overall performance of the team and the spirits of the team, everything was top notch. in terms of things that we could control. But when it came to delivery, like the thing that was killing us was basically that, the product wasn't doing so well in terms of money and customers and stuff like that. But the work was top notch. Everybody was very happy with like the way we delivered. Everybody was happy with, the quality and like security of the system, stability, and the technical roadmaps, and like what we were going to do next and so forth. And that has been a repeating pattern that I've seen in my own work, but also in other teams, where usually the thing that makes the difference is, as I said, like you have to be able to perform. But the only time you really get recognition is if you can produce solutions that stand out in some fashion. Otherwise, you're sort of, just kind of doing the thing that you are expected. You're sort of you are performing in accordance with expectations. But even if the team itself isn't really like doing something super important, that doesn't really matter, because it's not going to hurt you. It's really only when people perceive you as being unproductive or not getting things done where you start seeing problems from a team that isn't performing. So what I want you to take away from this is that no, a lead software engineer is usually not measured by the success of the team itself, because and this is in a sense it is one of the reasons why you have a lot of incompetent managers, because leadership is such a difficult thing to define. Like, how much influence do you actually have? I've been in situations where, as I said, the team was super happy and like everything was like we were producing as fast as we could have humanly produced, but given the context, given the resources, there was nothing more we could do. And the way that I like to think about these sorts of things is that as a software tech lead or any type of leader, you are given the ownership of a set of resources, and it is your job to do the most you can with those resources. I like to think about say that it's sort of like tuning an engine. If you get a tiny little two-stroke engine, a tiny little team taking care of a small power project, there's no way you're going to be able to make that into some type of Formula 1 engine, right? But you can make it into the best damn two-strokes engine that you can possibly have, and it can be damn stable. And that the achievements that you make in making doing the best job you can with the resources that you have been given, that is the thing that is going to give you a lot of credibility. Because if you can make that happen for this tiny little team, or this team that has historically been sort of like, nobody's really been happy with the technical solutions or so forth and so forth. It's something that, people haven't really been paying attention to, or it hasn't been going so well, and you turn that around, that gives you credibility, and all of a sudden people want you to take that success that you've had in that small arena into bigger things, and then you have to prove it again. It's the same damn thing over and over, guys, and that has very little to do with the team, because usually it is not the individual software developers or the team of software developers who is going to make the difference here. It is how well do you structure the work within the team. Do you know how to set up an effective work strategy for all of the people there? Do you know how to fix quality issues? Do you know how to fix the delivery speed, and do you know how to get in touch with stakeholders and make them sort of feel like, now the team or the things that you are responsible for, they're working as well as I could possibly hope that they were. They are working as well as I could possibly hope. If you can deliver that sensation, that is the most speaking thing for your success. I can promise you that much. Have a great day.